Sarah Ferguson and the former prince may be divorced, but according to Andrew Lownie, they are united in their questionable grabs for money. Fergie's simpering emails asking Epstein for a loan and vowing she was on the sex offenders team exposes the depth of the royal couple's indebtedness to him.
Ferguson's money troubles are nothing new, but even by royal standards, her story is astonishing. From £515 teddy bears and 50 suitcases of shopping to feasts fit for a king, and even a failed Bitcoin mining scheme in the Nevada desert. The former Duchess of York, now the ex-wife of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, has spent decades chasing wealth, prestige and influence. But behind the charm and chatter lies a long history of greed, misjudgment and financial chaos that may finally have caught up with her. Let's take a closer look at how Sarah Ferguson's extravagance helped destroy her reputation, and why her Bitcoin business scandal might be her most embarrassing yet. Before the diamonds and photo ops, Sarah Ferguson's life was ordinary, even humble. She's spoken openly about working as a chalet cleaner, scrubbing toilets, and waiting tables in a strudel cafe. Then came her fairy tale. In 1986, she married Prince Andrew, and overnight became Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of York. But according to royal insiders, that happily ever after came with a dangerous dose of delusion. Like many outsiders joining the royal circle, Fergie assumed marrying a prince meant unlimited money. What she didn't realise was that the Yorks were perpetually short of cash, and that the monarchy doesn't fund shopping sprees. The first signs of trouble came early. Not long after her wedding, Sarah flew home first class from New York with more than 50 pieces of luggage. The fine for her excess baggage? Almost £1,000, a staggering sum in the late 1980s. Inside the mountain of cases were around £33,000 worth of purchases, including a £515 teddy bear. Even the Heathrow staff were stunned. One baggage handler quipped, "Not even Joan Collins has this much." Royal aides were reportedly horrified, and the palace refused to say who paid the fine. But that incident was just a preview of what was to come.
They claimed to have ended the friendship. How much do you believe she was in debt to him?
I believe it's about 2 million. I mean, both Epstein and Sarah Ferguson don't deal in small amounts. But I've got two very good sources separately have said the same figure of 2 million.
Often arrived for trips with 25 or more suitcases, spending between £800 and £4,000 in excess baggage fees, sometimes packing whole trunks simply for her hangers. Behind palace walls, staff described her as extravagant to the extreme. One former employee claimed it was greed and wastefulness that contributed to her downfall. Every night she demanded a whole side of beef, a leg of lamb and a chicken laid out like a medieval banquet. Her annual spending hit £860,000, including £150,000 on gifts, £50,000 on flowers, and £50,000 on entertaining. She surrounded herself with luxury, personal trainers, hairdressers, and Pilates instructors who waited for hours and charged hundreds per session, while she slept late into the afternoon. Royal commentator Jenny Bond summed it up. She had a hopeless grasp of money, combined with a desire for more and more of it. By the early 1990s, Sarah's debts had spiralled out of control. She reportedly owed £4 million to Coutts Bank, one of Britain's most elite financial institutions. When her marriage collapsed in 1996, her finances went with it. Yet even after the divorce, she refused to downsize. Instead, she leaned on Andrew, emotionally and financially, long after their relationship had ended. Tina Brown described their dynamic as a destructive mutual reliance. He bailed her out when she was in trouble, and she backed him up when scandal struck. But those old arrangements couldn't last forever. When King Charles stripped Andrew of his titles and ordered the pair to vacate Royal Lodge, the royal safety net vanished, and Sarah's lavish lifestyle began to crumble. Just when it seemed Sarah might finally learn restraint, she dove headfirst into yet another questionable venture, this time in the world of cryptocurrency. In 2019, a company called Pegasus Group Holdings announced a grand plan, a £3 billion solar-powered Bitcoin mining complex in the Nevada desert. They called it the Hive. And who did they hire as their brand ambassador? Sarah Ferguson. In her statement, she praised the company's visionary leadership and said she was proud to join their forthcoming adventure. The deal earned her £200,000, with a promised £1.2 million bonus if the project succeeded. But it never did. Pegasus collapsed amid lawsuits and allegations of fraud, accused of using investor funds for personal gain and failing to build a single data center. By 2023, an arbitration tribunal had ordered the company to pay $2.5 million in damages. By 2024, new suits alleged Pegasus raised money with no intention of running a legitimate business. Once again, Sarah Ferguson's name was tied to a financial disaster, another example of poor judgment and questionable associations. This wasn't her only failed venture. She also sold her Belgravia townhouse at a loss, dropping from £4.25 million to £3.85 million in just 3 years. Her representative claimed it was an investment for her daughters, but experts saw a pattern: lavish spending, bad investments, and a habit of cashing in on her royal connections. Critics say that even without the Duchess title, she's continued to trade on the illusion of royal glamour to attract investors, brands, and publicity, a tactic that's now backfired spectacularly. Today, Sarah Ferguson's empire of excess seems to have finally collapsed. The woman who once demanded medieval banquets now faces the consequences of a lifetime of financial recklessness. She's lost her royal home, her income streams have dried up, and her reputation is once again under scrutiny. As one royal insider put it, she was a crashing spendthrift married to a cheapskate who had far less money than she thought, and she never recovered from that reality. For decades, Sarah Ferguson has been her own worst enemy. Whenever it seemed like she might redeem herself, she'd find a way to stumble right back into chaos. Take her string of strange commercial ventures: diet plans, self-help books, and even a line of teas and candles. At one point, she was promoting a product that claimed to energize your soul. Another time, she was hawking weight loss programs while admitting in interviews that she never actually stuck to them. Critics said it was less about passion, more about profit. She'd slap her name on anything that paid. A royal biographer once quipped that Fergie would endorse a fridge magnet if the check cleared. Then came the infamous cash for access scandal. Hidden cameras caught her offering a journalist access to Prince Andrew for a £500,000 fee. She was filmed saying, "That opens up everything you would ever wish for." When the story broke, the footage went viral around the world. Her explanation? She claimed she was desperate and drunk, apologising through tears on Oprah Winfrey's sofa. But for the royal family, the damage was done. The image of a duchess selling introductions to the Queen's son for £500,000 destroyed whatever credibility she had left. Still, Sarah seemed addicted to the spotlight. She's admitted to loving the thrill of fame, once saying that public attention felt like a form of oxygen, and she's chased it relentlessly. Red carpets, reality shows, and talk show confessions. Behind the cheerful grin, insiders say there's always been a streak of insecurity. She was constantly comparing herself to Diana, who remained adored long after her death. For Fergie, the press rarely showed that same affection. When she tried to reinvent herself as an author, writing children's books and memoirs, critics accused her of cashing in on the royal connection yet again. And while she often paints herself as the misunderstood Duchess, those close to her suggest otherwise. Former staff described her as impulsive and indulgent, one saying she could go from charming to impossible in seconds. Her love of luxury, they claimed, never faded. Even in the years she claimed to be broke, she somehow managed to appear at lavish parties, wearing couture and surrounded by celebrity friends. Royal experts have long noted that her pattern is clear: charm the wealthy, secure the deal, burn the bridge, repeat. And when it all collapses, she simply rebrands. Her latest spin, positioning herself as a modern survivor, using her social media presence and podcast appearances to promote positivity and resilience. But it's hard to ignore the irony. A woman who preaches self-improvement while her finances remain in tatters. More recently, she's leaned heavily into her image as a cancer survivor, using it to regain sympathy and rebuild her public persona. While many admire her strength in facing illness, others can't help but wonder if she's once again turning personal pain into PR. And looming over it all is the question of money. How exactly does she afford her lifestyle? After years of debt, unpaid loans and failed ventures, she continues to live in luxury.
I mean, did you take the money? At one stage you had $40,000 cash sitting in front of you. Did you take it?
Absolutely, yes. And it was given to me and I got it in the car and then returned it straight away.
Once the scandal broke?
As soon as I knew it was a scandal, not once it broke, Michael. But don't try and trick me now, because I'm not going to play this game. Delete that bit.
Some insiders claim wealthy friends and benefactors still step in to keep her afloat, while others suspect she's preparing a tell-all memoir, one that could expose private royal secrets for a lucrative deal. If history is any guide, Sarah Ferguson isn't done yet. Every time she's written off, she finds a way to claw back attention through scandal, self-promotion, or sheer audacity. But with the loss of Royal Lodge, her brand ambassador deals drying up, and her reputation once again on the line, this comeback may finally be the one that doesn't land. Because as one former royal aide put it, Sarah's greatest love has never been Andrew, it's been the lifestyle, and she'll do almost anything to keep it. Was Sarah Ferguson the victim of bad luck, or the architect of her own ruin? From luxury shopping sprees and lost millions to failed crypto schemes, it's clear her downfall wasn't sudden. It was decades in the making. What do you think? Was this greed, desperation, or just another chapter in the endless York family saga? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories behind Britain's most controversial family. Because even royal fairy tales can end in bankruptcy.